Where are all my wealth builders in the building, ready to invest in?
You don't need no paper. Just give me that energy that you was giving me before. Come on, Dad.
Where are all my wealth builders? Put some love in the chat for you and you and you.
Why are we putting love in the chat for them? What are they doing?
They being good supporters.
And they're starting how?
By just watching this one live.
And how is that going to help them?
It's going to help them get better.
All right. Things. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. All right. Where are all my wealth builders? Are y'all in the building? I am so excited that you have been stepping up, showing up, and starting strong with this 10-day transformation. We are on day 2 of this transformation experience, and we're going to jump right into it. Were you able to do your mental wealth assessment? How did that go for you? Did you gather any clues about what you need to do to de-stress, decompress, and live a life of loveliness? Did looking in the mirror make you any clearer on your grime and your glimmer? Good, wonderful. But once you become aware, you cannot stop there. So, guess what? Today's dollar sign strategy is setting. Put some dollar signs in the chat if you are ready to set some intention. Yesterday, we talked about seeing. We talked about doing our mirror work. Today, we are talking about intention setting. IS. Intention, I don't know why I want to say intention, y'all. Intention setting is putting that and is to your decision to live rich. Somebody type and is in the chat for us, okay? Now, this and is, this intention setting is flipping on your turn signal. It signals your choice to change lanes or directions based on where you are and where you want to be. Specific plans are a recipe for success. Unclear plans are a recipe for disaster. Now, you can become broke accidentally, but you can only become wealthy intentionally. It happens intentionally. Make no mistake, when I'm talking about setting intentions, I'm talking about implementation. I'm not talking about magical manifestation. I'm talking about seeing where you are and implementing strategies, setting intention around strategies. So, when I was house hunting, and I done a lot of house hunting, y'all, because I like houses. And sometimes I just get a little itch and I just want to move. And everybody who knows me knows it's the truth. Put the truth in the chat if you know how many times I done moved. But anyway, so we go and I got all my little features that I want in the house. So this house that I recently purchased, I wanted it to have a chef kitchen because my husband can throw down in the kitchen. And I wanted to make sure that he had all the tools and supplies and ovens and sinks that he needed, so I don't ever have to go in there unless I feel extremely inspired. So we needed the chef kitchen. We needed bedrooms for all the children. He needed his man cave because he's a Florida State fan and he got to watch his football and all the things. And I needed an office and a prayer closet. So I had a specific idea on what I was searching for and what I needed. When I decided that I had found my destination, I saw where I wanted to be, I then had to put down some earnest money to indicate my intention to follow through on the purchase of this home. And it's no different for you. Once you have decided, I looked in the mirror and I saw that I've been sitting in this pit of depression and despair for way too long. Once you look in the mirror and you see this anxiety keeps getting the best of me, once you look in the mirror and see I got ADHD, I'm all over the place, I can't get nothing done, I'm so distractible. Now, set your eyes on the destination where you want to be. And obviously, you're setting your eyes on the destination of being mentally wealthy because you are here having this conversation. So, intention setting is a process. You need to follow these steps daily. And I encourage you to write it down. Number one, plan. You need a plan. Plan and prepare. You got to know what you need to succeed. If you're going to say, I'm going to journal more, I really love that strategy that they presented. Okay, well, you got to go buy you a journal and you got to go find you some pens that you really love. Okay, if you're going to walk more, you can't walk in them Crocs that you like to slosh around in all the time. You got to go get you some walking shoes. So you got to prepare. Then you got to prioritize, because you can be well prepared, but distraction is going to try to shift your focus off of your destination. So you got to prioritize. You got to make being happy and whole your number one goal. And you have to decide, once we present you with all these wonderful strategies and tools, you got to prioritize using them on a daily basis. Also, you have to practice. You have to practice the strategies, but you also have to practice patience and pacing yourself with grace, because this pursuit is going to be imperfect. You want joy, you want peace, and you want freedom, but it's not going to come to you overnight. So you have to practice patience and pacing yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm going to journal for an hour every day and you haven't picked up a pen in a year. You're setting yourself up for failure. Finally, but most importantly, you must pray. You have to pray that God will decide if what you are intending is aligned with his intentions, that he will guide you on the path to pursue this mental wealth, and that he will provide. Y'all, we don't have to do this thing all by ourselves. We don't have to feel like we set the intention and then we're on our own. We have to pray and ask God to give us that joy, to give us that peace. Proverbs 19:21 says, man plans, but God prevails. So you can prepare, prioritize, plan, and practice. And then if you try to throw God out the mix, you're going to be registering for another transformation 10 months from now, because it's not going to go anywhere. So I want to share some secrets with you about the science of setting intention. Setting intention sets in motion cellular reconstruction. It changes cell to cell communication in your brain. And this cell to cell communication drives patterns for either prosperity or pity. How, you ask? I'm glad you did. So, the cell to cell communication is going to spark the release of dopamine. Dopamine is our motivation molecule. It allows us to feel pleasure and positive feelings. So soon as you set the intention, you spiking your dopamine. And we need this dopamine to keep us out of depression and stagnation. Setting intention also alleviates anxiety as it puts to a halt restless rumination and cyclical self-sabotaging patterns. Because if I'm setting intention and I'm making plans to solve the problem that's in front of me, I'm not so overwhelmed and distressed by the problem. So, y'all, if God is intentional, He's intentional. Y'all know that, Travis Green? He's intentional, Okay. So, if He's intentional, shouldn't we be? Here to answer that question is none other than executive success consultant, my superhero, Hilda G. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Y'all throw some love in the chat for Hilda G. All right, so if God is intentional, shouldn't we be? Let's adjust the camera. All right. Y'all can see us good? Okay.
Well, so yes, we should be intentional. And as I think about intentionality, one thing that comes to my mind is how can I be intentional if I don't know where I am? How can I decide where I'm going or where I want to go?
Put some dollar signs in the chat for that. She already dropping it, and she done said 3 words. Oh, this is gonna be good.
So
bring it.
If I think about my path as to how I got where I am today, I can remember years back in my mid-30s when I was thinking about like where I wanted to go. And when I think about the topic that we had yesterday around seeing, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm having a pity party, really. It's like, what's wrong with me when I think about, the rejection I felt from my birth mother, not ever really knowing who my father was. And so my thought process is like, what's wrong with me? Why did they not like me? And I'm going through this pity party. And then one day, while looking in the mirror, seeing, it's like, well, how long are you going to stay going around this same mountain, asking what's wrong with you, feeling rejection, feeling, why didn't they want me, all this? Let's move forward, Hilda. Let's move forward. So this is a conversation I'm having with myself while looking in the mirror. So I decided at that point, either I'm going to stay where I am, I'm going to move forward. So if change is going to happen for me, it begins with me.
Say it.
So the first thing that I had to do before I can even move forward is to go through forgiveness. I needed to forgive them for me. And, they may not have ever felt the rejection or even known about the rejection, but I had to go through that whole thing of forgiveness. Okay, now I've gone through forgiveness. And what I will say is going through forgiveness is not necessarily always a one-time thing. It's a daily walk. It's a daily process. Yes. You have to go through that until, you feel cleansed, you feel released. And now that I'm released from that rejection, I'm free. I am free to now begin to move forward for me, not for anybody else, but for me. And so I wish I could tell you that once I got to that point, I woke up one day and said, you know what, Hilda, you're going to be a director of the systems team. You're going to be the guru of, systems at your company. Everybody's going to come to you. Like, that is not what happened. I did not wake up and say, okay, I'm going to go on this journey to become this person. What I did know is that I needed to get education. So that's the first thing about being intentional. I needed to educate myself in the field. I needed to seize every opportunity that was presented for me, and then seek after opportunities that were not even presented. I was going to go above and beyond. I was going to go the extra mile. I'm going to make sure that I am the best at my craft. Nobody was going to know more about my subject matter, whatever that was, than me. I was going to be the go-to person. And so from that standpoint, I began that path, starting In the mail room, I learned all about how the mail comes in, what's going on with the mail. Moving up to the next position, every position I was afforded an opportunity, I learned it from A to Z. Because at some point, when you get to the next level, it's a building block. So if you know what happens at point A, and when you get to point C, someone's coming and trying to tell you about point C, no, because I know what happens back here. Now, you may not necessarily have to come up in the ranks, but know your craft. Do the research. Make sure that you are giving it your all and giving it your best.
I love that. Now we're going off script because something that you said resonated with me, okay?
Okay.
So you said going the extra mile, right?
Right.
And so we set our intention and we're like, yes, I'm going to go the extra mile. But then these obstacles come up. And I watched you growing up, on the verge of pulling out your hair some days. Like there was jet issue in this and all these terms, the system failures and, oh, it's not working right. Oh, I wanted this promotion, but they gave it to somebody else. So how does setting intention prepare us to deal with the emotional distress of setback? And how do we kind of stir our spirits to be indomitable, even though the minute we set the intention, opposition is coming.
Yes.
The depression is hovering, waiting to come down on us. The anxiety is bubbling up, just waiting for an opportunity to overwhelm us. And then we get frozen.
Right.
So do you have any advice about preparing yourself in the midst of intention setting for that emotional stress that's natural with the process of going from the mailroom to the boardroom?
So one of the things that you said in your introduction about prayer. So the scripture that comes to my mind is, the race is not given to the swift or the strong, but to him who endureth until the end. And so when those oppositions came my way, I would go back to that scripture constantly. I am going to be strong. I am going to be swift, no matter what comes my way. If this is my goal, to get this promotion, and I tell my team at work many times about this one particular job that I wanted, that I applied for 7 times.
7
before I got the promotion.
Wow.
But my thing was, no matter what, if I sensed and I felt that this was where God wanted me to be, they could close the door temporarily. But if God has that door for me at his appointed time, that door was going to open. And so that's where that prayer comes from. If you know that that's what God has put in your heart, you've been in your prayer closet, and he says, this is what you need to do, and this is where I want you to go, no matter what. I think about one of the inventors. I think it was the light bulb.
Yep, Thomas Edison. How many times?
Thousands of times. He kept trying, but at some point, he overcame. So don't be weary in well-doing, because at the appointed time and appointed season, you will reap a harvest if you faint not.
Oh, that was powerful. That was powerful. And so what I think we want to take away from this is that no matter how beat down and bogged down you have been feeling up until this moment,
right?
Today is your day to say, no more. I see where I am, but I also see where I'm going, and I'm setting the intention today.
Yes.
And I'm going to set the intention again tomorrow.
Yes.
And when I feel depression creeping up on me, I'm going to implement the strategies that I'm learning in this transformation to overcome that. When I have the anxious thoughts and I feel the anxiety in my body, I'm setting the intention today, knowing that it's coming.
Yes.
But I'm getting ahead of it, and I'm going to be practicing and implementing these strategies in my strong season while I got my stride, so that when I hit that curve,
yes,
and it's feeling like, oh, this race is getting kind of hard, I don't know if I can make it, I already have stamina that I've built up from the strategies that I've already been practicing, so that when I hit that straightaway, choom,
that's right.
nothing's going to stop me.
Nothing's going to stop you.
So, do you have like a little tip or a trick or something that you want to leave us with in terms of a reminder about this intention setting? We, of course, want to walk through those steps: preparing, prioritizing, practicing, and praying. But what can you leave us with in terms of this intention setting? The and is.
And is.
Okay.
So what I would say is today, put a stake in the ground.
Okay.
And say, today is the first day of the rest of my life. I am moving forward intentionally. And tomorrow is the first day. And the next day is the first day. And you keep intentionally putting that stake in the ground, saying you are moving forward. No matter what the day brings, I'm moving forward.
All right. So okay, y'all, if y'all serious about transformation, we are about to put our stakes in the ground. Okay. So I'm going to show you how you do it. I want you to move your hand in the circle like this and snatch the stake. Okay. And I want you to hold it tight. And then I want you to mean mug like you're serious. Okay. Y'all got it? And then I want you to raise that stake and I want you to put it in the ground. Put it in the ground, okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Come on, grab your stake. Put your stake in the ground. We are setting intention. Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful. Thank you, Mommy.
Thank you for having me, baby girl.
Oh, my goodness. You rock the house, honey. We will be back tomorrow with more transformation. We got another special guest coming, y'all. I can't wait for y'all to experience this powerhouse lady. She will be here. I'm not gonna tell you who she is, because you gotta come back so you can see for yourself. Don't forget to put that and is on your intention to live rich now.